Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wild Take Wednesdays. If you don't know what Wild Take Wednesdays is the conversation portion of Unc's Corner. I am the host, Unc. If you're watching on TikTok, welcome. If you're watching on Twitch, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. To the YouTube people, don't forget to like and subscribe the video and share it to your friends. On TikTok, don't forget to share this and like the live. And on the Twitchies, don't forget to subscribe to the Twitch. We're going to be talking about Flvme's Black and White album. I listened to it today. I listened to Flvme's Black and White album today, and I gave a review, right? I wrote some notes and whatever the case may be. So without wasting too much time, I just want to introduce who's here. I don't know if my mods are here, right? But yeah, I just want to say big shout out to There's No Criteria. If you haven't joined Wild Take Wednesdays, then maybe sit back, relax, and just listen to the review. There is no criteria. I don't do that shit. I'm not Mswengo, no am I Swisher. I am a hip-hop scholar for real. Big shout out to the mods. Verseless the mod. I think Verseless the only mod that's here today. What's going on? Lero 17. What's going on? Lero 17. Big shout out to Verseless the mod. Big shout out to Becky FTC. Big shout out to Sean E. Big shout out to Palesa. Big shout out to Lynn. Big shout out to Toby. Big shout out to Planet. Big shout out to my son Planet. He's at the bottom. I see he's here. And big shout out to everybody that just joined. It is Wild Take Wednesday. We're going to talk about Flvme. What's up, Black Turbulent? We're going to talk about Flvme, Black and White. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road. It is Wild Take Wednesdays, brought to you by Unc's Corner. Let's go. What's going on, the one? All right, cool. First and foremost, I just want to say I made it to hip hop Twitter. I saw Sihle repost one of my videos on Twitter. But he didn't credit me. Sihle, if you're watching this next time, credit me, nigga. I saw another nigga take one of my videos also and post them. So I did make it to hip hop Twitter. Big shout out. I made it to hip hop Twitter, but you niggas better credit me. Like there is a Twitter page for Unc's Corner. So just credit Unc's Corner. You know what's going on, OG. So I did make it to hip hop Twitter. I was afraid because I know Twitter is a place where there's a lot of dum-dums. You understand? So me just going into that space and just seeing that actually my thing, it does have the thing. It does have the Twitter. Was it positive and negative reviews? Nah, niggas always use me. You can't argue hip hop like I do. You understand? So niggas use me to argue their point for hip hop, and I guess I welcome it. You understand what I'm saying? But a big shout out to that. I also want to start by saying there's a reason as to why I'm doing this review in particular. What's going on, Musa? There's a reason as to why I'm doing this review in particular. I wasn't going to do this review. However, I was sitting on Twitter. I was seeing there's something that Sihle said about the best albums that came out, and obviously I wasn't going to go into that because there's a bunch of niggas that don't know what they're talking about albums that came out and whatever the case may be. So I wasn't even going to go into that. But I thought to myself that I said something very dismissive about Flvme a while ago, right? I said something very dismissive about Flvme a while ago. I'm trying to find the actual clip, right? And kind of introduce this Wild Take Wednesdays with that clip, right? Because it will give context as to why we're having this particular Wild Take Wednesdays today, right? So I said something about Flvme that was very, very, very dismissive, right? That was very dismissive and, to be quite honest, very unfair. This is what I said about Flvme. If you're on Twitch, obviously you can see this, but this is what I said about Flvme that I honestly thought was extremely dismissive, right? A couple of Wild Takes ago. This is what I said. He made too much of a good album, right, and couldn't top it. So he's flying under the radar of his Candyman album. And if you give the world Candyman and then you're gonna come with something under Candyman, don't give us anything. And I think that's what's going on with Flvme. I think with Flvme is you gave us Candyman. Candyman was one of the best albums to come out around them times, and then you flew under the radar of Candyman. We don't want it. We don't want it at all. Only the blade flew under the radar. So yeah. So that's what I said about Flame, right? As you heard on the clip, that's what I said about Flame in as far as Candyman. And Flame responded, right? And Flame responded. Flame responded by saying on the comment section. Flame responded by saying, "I believe y'all were just too lost. We're just too lost. Sorry, let me just do this real quick. On the whoa, I'm going wild right now. They made two. Flame said, "I believe y'all were just lost in the hype of Candyman. It worked out only because of all the chaos around it. People wanted to see what I would do in that moment." Right? He responded 3 weeks ago. What's going on, Ski? He responded 3 weeks ago to that video, right? And yeah, right. So I thought about that response. Long and hard. Pause. And I was like, if I'm gonna sit here and say I'm leading hip hop commentary or hip hop with integrity, I need to at the very least give Flame his just due in as far as his recent release, which is Black and White. Very important to note that this was that video was said or was recorded and clipped and yeah, posted before Black and White released, I believe, right? Or rather, it was recorded before Black and White released, and then it was clipped before Black and White released, but it was released after Black and White. So I think also this is why Flame said what he said, right? So I was like, that was an unfair situation in as far as Flame. I'm glad that he responded. You understand? I'm glad that he responded. I'm glad that he stood up for himself, and he put me in a space where I had to question, actually, was that fair, right? And it brings us here to the Flame review. What I will say is that what I say after this, right, will be fair to Flame. What I say after this will be fair to Flame because I listened to the album. What I say after this will be based on what I heard now from the album. It won't be based on previous bias that I had. And what I say here is my word. So, Big Flame, what I'm about to say here, right, is based on your output. And we are here because of your album, Black and White. Let's go. If you haven't listened to Black and White, that's on you. Right? If you haven't listened to Black and White, that's on you. But if you have listened to Black and White, you're gonna go through the track list with me. And if you're still yet to listen to Black and White, then maybe this should help you run through, or this may change your perspective. Lastly, before I go into it, somebody said on the YouTube comments that my eyes are yellow. It looks like I have jaundice and I may have liver failure. I'm here to show you, sir, that if you look here, my eyes are actually white. At the top is here where my eyes are exposed, that my eyes are a little bit red, right? And what you see here, these are blue filtering glasses, my good sir, right? So when I wear them, there's a filter, right, that reflects the blue because I'm always on screens, ring lights, cameras, whatever the case may be. So I just want to say shout out to you for thinking that I'm sick and for pointing it out at the comment section. But I'm here to tell you, my brother, I do not have liver failure. I drink a lot of water, right? I drunk a lot of water and I eat very well not to have liver failure, right? But if I'm wrong, then I drink also multivitamins, my brother. I drink the ashwagandha. I drink a whole lot of stuff. You understand? Big shout out to you for, looking at my video and say, hey, you could be sick. I am not sick, my brother. I'm also using a filter, a warm filter. God forbid, yes. I'm also using a warm filter, right, to emit the color correction. So yeah. I just wanted to say that, but big shout out to you. Anyway, let's get into let's get into to Flame Black and White. So I play this. I walk into this album with the idea of trying to be fair to Flame, right? I walk into this album with the idea of trying to be fair to Flame. Pause. Yeah, get it. Yeah, pause. Yeah, pause. It's aunties that can catch that line. I walk into this album trying to be fair to Flame. So I'm walking in with the idea of, okay, cool, I need to be very clear. I need to be very accountable. You understand? And I need to be very aware of what I'm listening to, how I'm listening to it, and what I'm saying about it. So I walk into it. First and foremost, I didn't know that I didn't know that the album was 21 songs. I discovered this while listening, right? The album is 21 songs. It's an hour and 11 minutes. I will mention why that to me is a problem. You understand? It was a very, very, very long album. You understand? I think dropping an album that's an hour in this day and age is mad, right? I don't think anybody listens to an hour of music, unless if you're from the olden days, and even if you're from the olden days, yeah, an hour of music that with that level of production is crazy. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, I walk in, intro, Dark Outside, right? Dark Outside, and the first thing when I listen to Dark Outside, I'm realizing one thing. The Zoocci identity, right? I'm realizing the Zoocci identity. I'm realizing the vocal range. One thing about Flvme that I can appreciate is his ability to use his voice, right? His vocal dexterity, even though it has some Travis Scott auto-tune dark thing going on, I can appreciate it because it sets a tone, it sets an environment, it sets a feel, right? You are walking into this thing, it's dark outside, you are like, okay. But the first thing that I notice is the Zoocci identity. Zoocci has a great way, and I think this project was executive produced by Zoocci. If not, it was probably engineered by Zoocci. Zoocci should be involved in this project in some form or fashion, right? And I think he was involved. But when you walk in first track, you're like, okay, cool. You can hear Zoocci creative direction. You understand? I say here, Travis Scott vocal Flvme does my favorite thing. You understand? Zoocci engineering and ear candy is my favorite thing in South African music, right? As I said, him doing the Travis Scott thing, right, with his voice, because he can do it very well. Them bending their voices on the auto-tune to create like this very far away echo thing that's happening and woo woo woo. I love that. Content-wise and as far as the song, right, Flvme is not really someone that I'm looking for to hear raps from. You understand? Flvme is more so like a vibe guy, and he creates this vibe. The intro, I'm like, okay, cool. However, when it comes to the intro, the outro of the intro, which is the voices, I think they were a little bit too long, too dragged out. That's the first thing that I noticed. But I was nitpicking at this moment, right? It's the first song, right? It's the first song, right? I'm loving the vibe, but I'm like, the end of it, it's like that harmonization of those like female vocals, right? A little bit too long. And they're like very like limited, like very... Not limited, sorry, very long. You understand? It should have been limited, sorry. I think they hummed like 5 times, right? They should have maybe kept it to 3. I don't know. You understand? But yeah, I was nitpicking at this moment. But it doesn't change the fact that Zoocci was hitting you with the ear candy. There's a part where we hear, if you listen to, there's a song by Travis Scott, right? I think it's on Drake's If You Reading This Is Too Late, with Party Next Door and Drake, something along those lines. There's dogs in the background, right? I heard on the intro there's dogs in the background. I'm like, oh, I'm here with it. We in the dark, baby. You know what I mean? Then we go into 10 Toes, right? 10 Toes. Now, before anything else, just from a structural point of view, 10 Toes is my favorite song. Not because I listened to what was happening, just because structurally, right, the song is my favorite song, and I'll explain what I mean by that. And before I agree with you, Khalisto, right, I just want to explain what I mean when I say structurally, right, 10 Toes is my favorite song. First and foremost, it has Westside Boogie, one of my favorite rappers, right? One of my favorite rappers. Love Westside Boogie. Previous project wasn't as good as his first one, but love Westside Boogie. Love Westside Boogie. As you can see, I'm even smiling when I talk about Westside Boogie because he is of the same ilk as Kendrick, just on some, sad boy Sichulala, right? So niggas like him, niggas like Kendrick love them. So to see Flvme be the second South African artist, I believe, to feature Westside Boogie, I'm like, oh, we on. 10 Toes, oh, we on. Westside Boogie's all here, right? The song plays, guess what I hear? I hear La Russell. Another favorite of mine. I hear La Russell with a skit. Another favorite of mine, right? The skit talks about, hey man, I'm all about doing my thing, super independent. If you guys don't know who La Russell is, he is a descendant of Nipsey Hussle. And as far as independence, he is also one of my inspirations in as far as doing the independent grind and doing things yourself. So just based off that, like, oh, we see Westside Boogie on the feature, and then when the song start, we have a La Russell skit. I'm like, oh, we finna do something here, right? The song plays, Flame does his thing. Then the Sing About Me drums hit. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing right here? Right? I'm like, you got Westside Boogie, you got the La Russell skit, then you got the Sing About Me drums. Oh no, what is going on out here, right? You hear Flame starts rapping, right? I say here, Sing About Me drums. At this point, the song is speaking to me before I actually lock in. Then Flame starts rapping, right? Flame starts rapping. Flame, I think this was one of his best lyrical displays. I understand why he's with Westside Boogie, right? You don't play with niggas like Westside Boogie, right? If you're gonna bring Westside Boogie, you gotta do some rapping. Even Casper, when he had the song with Westside Boogie, niggas was rapping, right? I say here, Flame is not a crazy lyrical rapper, but here he had to come through and he pulled through. He out-rapped Boogie. Love Westside Boogie, but Flame out-rapped Boogie. Now, a lot of y'all niggas will feel some type of way about what I'm about to say, and a lot of y'all niggas may not know who Westside Boogie is or are familiar with Westside Boogie's catalog. Westside Boogie is a great rapper. Phenomenal rapper. Westside Boogie got bodied by two South African rappers in Flame and Casper. Why? Because I feel like Westside Boogie was doing his Westside Boogie thing while South African rappers who feature Westside Boogie, because they listen to Westside Boogie, were like, we're not going to get murked by Westside Boogie. So what happens is Flame, out of all people, murks Westside Boogie. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's a different type of time, right? How is Flame murking Westside? It just doesn't make sense. So now I'm like, oh, South Africa 2, Compton 0. Somebody bring Kendrick. You know what I mean? But 10 Toes, I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, cool. This is great rapping from Flame. Sing About Me drums. La Russell skit. Westside Boogie on the feature, even though it wasn't his best showing. But I'm glad that Flame did what he did. In between the chorus and the last part, they throwing in the Breakfast Club interview, right? Westside Boogie's Breakfast Club interview of, I think it was the 8th of September 2022, or the 8th of October 2022, right? And I'm like, oh, now we gearing up to speak about something very deep here, because dark outside, we dark aura level, woo woo, Zuchi, woo woo, 10 Toes, we rapping. You're not gonna do the Kendrick Lamar Sing About Me drum loop if you're not gonna rap about something. And he raps about something. He raps about strife, right? I'm like, oh, we're gonna talk about strife. So now, first two songs, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, we're gonna talk about strife. We're gonna talk about like the ups and downs Flame went through. Woo, woo, woo. Game of Thrones comes in. This is track 3, right? Game of Thrones comes in. Zuchi, production, right? Engineering, whatever it is, the Zuchi identity, mad movie. So I'm like, oh, we're still on Zuchi dark aura time. Oh, beautiful, right? There's like a connection in as far as sonics and production. I'm like, oh, I love this, right? He's not saying much on Game of Thrones, just some boisterous rap shit. Like, yeah, we out here, baby. You see us? I'm like, I like it, you know. Targaryen, wah wah wah. Not really a Game of Thrones fan, but I'm like, oh, I like this, right? 3 tracks in, I'm like, okay, Flame, you doing something. But I'm waiting for the woo, right? You niggas already know what the woo is. For those who know, when I hear something and it takes me back, I hit the woo, you know? So I'm waiting for the woo. We get into Ain't Into That. Ain't Into That calms me down. The release. You remember that's DC album I was talking about? Tension, suspension, release, tension, release. I was talking about that. The release, right? Track 4, we ain't into that. I say here, love the singy song vibe. Saturday afternoon driving around 3-4 million rand houses. So now, as I'm listening to the song, I'm thinking about, if you live in Joburg, right? There's a place called not the Northwest Province. There's a place called the Northwest, which is Sandton, right? And then like the West before you get to the hood, like the rich West. You understand? So there's roads that get you there. You understand? There's roads that get you there. You can move through Sandton or wherever in the city, Parkhurst, and then you can move into the West. There's a lot of residential. It's a heavily populated residential area. Mad expensive houses there, right? So we talking Featherbrook estates and all that, right? All of them houses, sometimes houses with courts, houses with mad basketball courts, tennis courts, big houses, beautiful houses, right? Houses on hills, you know what I mean? I'm listening to that. I'm like, oh, we driving around these Yarmeens, right? We going somewhere. It's a Saturday afternoon. We got money in our pockets. It's the 3, 4, 5 million rand houses. We doing something out here. I say here, chilled money song. Don't play with that boy when it comes to vocal stacking. He's a monster. Which goes back to the first thing that I spoke of in the intro. You can't touch Flvme. He has insane vocal dexterity. That boy can do so much with his voice. And then he does the Brandy vocal stacking. If you're an R&B head, you understand what I mean when I say that, right? Brandy is one of the best vocal stackers, right? Even like, if you go listen to, I think, Folded by Kehlani, the remix, Brandy's on it because Kehlani did such a great job in vocal stacking, because Brandy's the vocal stacking queen. Flvme is that for us when it comes to male vocals. Phenomenal vocal stacking. So now I'm just like, oh, damn, this nigga's showing out. This is not just like a rap album or whatever. The techniques also that are, and I'm like, of course, this should make sense. Big Zoo is right there. Creative directing, everything, right? I'm very clear with that. Like, oh, Big Zoo is doing something crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Full Moon Brandy, yes, Full Moon Brandy. I think Brandy just as a vocalist is insane with the vocal stacking. Brandy's not human. So when I'm listening to Flvme, I'm like, damn, what are we doing here, right? We're not just doing no raps, but again, I understand that Flvme is just not some singy song rapper. Flvme is a musician, but this is a different Flvme to me personally. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different Flvme. He's not trying to hit the hits. He's still in his artistic bag. Then we get to track number 5, Count Up. We get to track number 5, Count Up. Nothing memorable. Nothing memorable. Not to say I didn't like it. Nothing memorable. Just I. Get to Butterflows. Bros were just having fun. Nothing memorable again. It's just thingy. I think Count Up is the one with 25K in them. Nothing. Right, we've heard the trap bars from 25. You understand? We know Diamonds, what he does. You understand? Nothing too good. Like, not too good, but like, it wasn't anything for me. Right? We can do without it. We get to Butterflows. It's niggas on a mash beat. Niggas is having fun. You understand what I'm saying? We good. Right? Nothing memorable. Niggas is having fun on Butterflows. Cool. Then we walk into Daddy Issues. Now, if you're from the Vault, there's a song by SPK called She Don't Want Love off of his Good Friday. If you're from the Vault and you're tapped in. This dropped around 2017. Also, like, yeah, that era of music was crazy, right? On the internet. Daddy Issues resembles that song to me. Right? If you don't know that song, that's fine. But I love Daddy Issues. Daddy Issues, great story. Love the dichotomous nature of the story, right? Flvme talks about a baby that's really doing it, you know? Really doing it crazy outside. You understand? Doing the baddie life crazy outside. Zoo talks about a nigga that's empathetic, nigga that's loving, but like he be loving the wrong ones. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I love this. You know what I mean? I'm saying here, love a great story, love a great dichotomous narrative. They both executed it well. Daddy Issues, love it. Right? I'm like, oh, I love this. Woo! You know what I mean? Again, Zoo. The identity's there. You understand what I'm saying? Love it. Then we get to another day. This is where things get weird for me. Right? Another day. Flvme, my brother, Zoo. Drake already did it. And no disrespect, but you can never rap better than Drake. You can try, but you can never be as introspective as Drake. You can never put the words like Drake. And in as much as you guys tried to do the different production with the bass lines and the whatevers, you can never be Conductor, you can never be Drake. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Another Day uses the same exact sample, same exact execution with a different maybe drum pattern and bass line as 8 a.m. in Charlotte by Drake. Now, remember when 8 a.m. in Charlotte dropped, we were all excited because like timestamp Drake is coming, baby. It's a different type of time. So for you to come through and try to do the exact same thing, it's risky. I wrote here, risky sample choice. No disrespect to the choice, but Drake and Conductor did it better. Right? A better execution and introduced it to us. So there will always be a bias. Right? To me, we can use that song, doesn't need to be on this album. Drop it as a SoundCloud drop. Excuse me. As a freestyle, as a YouTube drop. Drop it as a rollout for the next project. Or as a rollout for this project if you didn't drop it. Right? Now, so I'm like, you can never rap better than Drake. You can never, whomever made the beat also, like try to do a different beat. You can never be better than Conductor. You can use, bro, we don't need this. Because, bro, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks in, 6 tracks in, we hear the identity, right, of Zoo, production-wise. We hear the identity of Flvme, writer-wise, whatever the case may be, right? On Another Day, what are we doing? What are we doing? You should, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. Risky move. It's just a, hey, Sandra, how you doing? Right? Then we get to Never Leaving. Let me tell you niggas, I need to hit the soundboard for Never Leaving because nobody can execute. Nobody. I call it dark auto-tune pain music. Nobody can execute dark auto-tune pain music better than Zoo and Flvme. Nobody. Nobody on this earth. Nobody can execute I think Travis Scott, matter of fact, Kanye West introduced dark auto-tune pain music. Travis Scott and Wonder Girl and the other bro, I forgot his name now. He's a beat maker. They took it to a different level. Flvme and Zoocci took it to where it was supposed to go. Never Leaving. I'm like, again, I say here, auto-tune pain music. Don't play with them boys. Like it or not, right? A Zoocci and Flvme dark auto-tune pain song will forever be the standard. Forever. Don't touch the... Also, them boys are mad talented. Vocal stackers. Don't play with them niggas. Right? Mike Dean on that type of time. I feel like the only people that they can go toe-to-toe with is really Mike Dean. These niggas are doing something on Never Leaving. I'm like, okay, we kind of back. We kind of doing the woo-woo. You know what I mean? Already, the song is not the album is not a bad album. Already, right? Couple of songs that I can get rid of. Count Up, Another Day. Butterflows is cool. What's that? It can stay. But on Never Leaving, I'm like, oh, we good. Oh, we definitely good at this moment in time. Somebody tell Flvme I said that. On listen, when I talk about Never Leaving is one of them songs where I'm like, okay, we doing something crazy right now. Right? We get to In the Morning. I drop. You see how excited I was when I was talking about Never Leaving? We get to In the Morning. Love how the sample does. We get into it. It's like, I'm like, God damn it, Flame, what you doing to me? Right? I'm like, what are you doing to me? What are we doing? You're not doing the right thing for me, bro. You killing me. We were on the pain, woo, 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 right? I'm like, damn, we doing this thing. In the morning, you drop me again. But I'm like, all right, cool. It's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where shit hits the fan. Let me tell you something. This is where things take a turn. Let me tell you something. This is where the boys and the men get separated. By this part of the album, this is when the boys and the men get separated. This is when the niggas who are there for just Flame, right, get lost. And this is where the niggas who know music, they sitting there, they're like, oh, we want to do something. Then we get to All Night Interlude. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Don't play with that man vocally. Right? As I'm listening to All Night Interlude, I'm like, did I say all day? I meant all night. Then we listening to All Night Interlude. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing here? Right? Then, mind you, this is the first time I listened to this album. I'm like, I would love, this is my notes, I would love to hear this man do an R&B album. I'm convinced he's a great R&B writer. This is me. I'm on All Night Interlude. Right? I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, I respect it. I respect it. We did the dark, sad nigga thing, woo, woo, woo. But once we get here, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a different type of time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it's like Flame was in the room. It's like the moment when I'm listening to All Night Interlude and I'm like, this man can be a great R&B writer. It's like Flame, it's like Big Dog. You don't even know what you're talking about. We go into K-O-C-T-Y. I wrote here, then my wish came true. Let me tell you something. It's a different type of time. Now we walking into a different world. We no longer on dark aura pain music. We on phenomenal songwriting, phenomenal structuring, phenomenal arrangement, great beats. Don't play with them niggas on the vocals. Don't play with them niggas on the Dirty Mac pen. Don't play with them niggas. There's a bro or a lady. I don't know what that nigga, you understand, if it's a nigga or a lady. Dire Fox took it to a different type of time. I'm like, oh my God. What are we doing right now? Right? I'm like, oh, damn. I wrote here, first time in the album where I feel something. That's when I feel the, right? I'm like, Dire Fox is a bro. Big shout out to Dire Fox, right? No disrespect, right? I'm like, oh, okay, this is from Namibia. Bro, Namibia has one of the most talented people out here, bro. So I'm listening to this. I'm like, Dire Fox, what you doing, bro? Rock. I'm like, woo, okay. But I'm not going to woo like the woo that I normally do. But I'm like, okay, I'm feeling something here. We get to Just Saying. Ladies and gentlemen, I wrote here, woo. I wrote here, woo, now we cooking with olive oil. That's what I wrote here. Once we get to Just Saying, I'm like, oh, we in an R&B bag. Don't forget, on All Night, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, this man would be a great R&B writer because I'm hearing what he's doing with the zoo, and I appreciate it, right? The pain music, and I'm like, woo, we out here, rapper, woo, right? Once we get here, we're separating the boys from the men, right? We're separating the water from the oil, baby. You may need an egg to emulsify this, but don't bring the egg. Let's separate it. Because we need niggas that love the first half to get out the chat. Because this for niggas that love the second half out here. Just Saying comes in. I'm like, yeah, this the R&B album I've been waiting for, baby. All Night, K-O-C-T-Y, and Just Saying. That's 3 tracks. I'm like, oh my God. I'm listening to a completely different album. One Night comes in. Right? Cool. Mind you, now I'm in the R&B bag. I'm like, oh, we dirty macking. We texting girls late at night. We telling them they're the center of our universe while we in the middle of another girl's legs. It's a different type of time right now. You feel me? Right? One Night comes in. I'm like, all right, cool. Right. Dance For Me comes in. I'm like, oh, this man's pen is a different type of time. I wrote here. Right, on one night I wrote, I like it, don't have any takeaways. On Dance For Me, I'm saying it's cool, right? It's cool. I like his writing on it. I think his strong suit is writing to women and for women, which speaks to the R&B idea. Flame, if you're watching this, so if you're gonna see a clip of anything, let me tell you something. You need to go in the studio with some of these ladies and some of these dudes because they need you. Your R&B pen is a different type of time, bro. Right? So now we're all night, KOCTY, just saying one night, dance for me. I'm like, I'm grooving. I'm grooving. We doing something out here, baby. You know what I mean? you feel me? Confor comes in. Confor comes in. I'm lost for words. I wrote here, at this point, there's nothing I can say. I love the pseudo R&B album this is turning into. At this point, I'm finished. I'm like, okay, I'm good. All night, KOCTY, just saying one night, dance for me, Confor. I'm like, listen here. Give me this. I'm good. It's a 10. Give me this. It's a 10. Don't even need to tell nothing. I don't need the first part. The first part is cool, right? Give me this. It's a 10. Right? Come through Habibi. Right? Yo, I hope you good. Just wanted to ask when you do beat reviews. We'll let you know, my brother, for sure. Right? We get to Habibi. I'm like, damn, that was light. I don't know if you heard that thunder and lightning. Damn. I'm like, once we get to Habibi, I'm like, I'm not sure if I like this or not, but it's a good song. Right? I'm not sure if I like it, but it's a good song. I'm like, maybe he's trying to get the radio play. Follower, she likes Don Tolliver, and she's a swallower. Twitch and 5. Big shout out to the follower on Twitch. I'm like, oh, maybe he's doing a radio play, right? He's trying to get the radio, the piano adjacent. We trying to be outside with the piano guys. I need the Samro check. We out here. We're going to put Young Stunner for positioning purposes. You know, the piano niggas are going to look at it. They're going to hear the sound. They're going to feel safe in it, right? We're going to be outside day drinking mojitos, sundown with your girlfriends because you don't take them out and we got the money. We listening to Habibi, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm hearing what this is, right? It's not a bad song. It's not a bad song, but I'm like, I'm hearing this. I get it. Right? I get it. Then we get to Freaky. That was in the soundboard. That was just Twitch. That's the sounds on Twitch. Then we get to Freaky. I'm like, Freaky's cool. Yeah, it's for me, it wasn't even too industry. For me, I'm like, I get it. Because now you gave the street niggas or the sad boys that don't go out because they don't got girlfriends, they think they're going to make it in music. You gave them your album. Then you gave us the niggas who love the R&B, the niggas that always run around with the babies, you understand, and so on and so forth. You gave us our album. Now you got to do the industry thing. I get it. So from Habibi, Freaky, up to something, I'm like, these are radio songs. I'm like, oh, he's doing radio now. You understand? The R&B side also can be radio, but Habibi, Freaky, and Up to Something are intentional radio songs. Like, I can hear them on the radio. I'm like, oh, now you're doing a positioning play now, right? You're doing a positioning play. I like them. Nothing is a bad song here, by the way, right? Cool song, cool song, cool song. Habibi sounds like a radio play, day drinking song. Cool. Freaky, cool song, Up to Something, cool song. Then we get to When You Call again. Again, Flame. Same mistake that you made on Another Day. Risky sample choice. Kanye West has already given us the sample. That baby, yeah. Oh baby, not the way you go. However, your execution is dope. It's not a bad song. I need you to understand. When I'm saying, yo, maybe the choices, I'm not saying there's a bad song here. The only maybe song that I could remove here is Count Up, to be quite honest. You understand? But like, once we get to When You Call, I'm like, Flame Dog, you're doing the same thing that you did with Another Day, right? I don't know, bro. I don't know, right? It's a Kanye sample. But again, it's a good song because you're a great R&B writer. I'm with you. Then we get to Love Affair. At this point, I'm feeling like, yo, you stacking songs up, bro. Right? I think Love Affair is the last song, I believe. Yes. Right? Love Affair is the last song from Habibi, Freaky, up to something. I'm like, radio songs. You're trying to play radio. You're trying to be positioned. You're trying to be in a position. When you call, it's just them ideas because you heard the Kanye song, right? And you wanted to do your version, right? And then Love Affair, I feel like you're just stacking songs. So now I'm 21 songs in, an hour in. I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? I'm scrapping the first part. I'm sorry, Flame. The first part, dog, I'm scrapping. Definitely not for me. The album that I'm taking, right, with the inclusion of Habibi, the album that I'm taking is All Night, KOCTY, Just Saying, One Night, Dance For Me, Can't Fall, Habibi. Maybe Freaky and Up to Something. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 songs. That's the album that I'm taking. Right? That's the album that I'm taking. I'm good. The EP that I'm taking, right? The EP, so I'm taking those songs, All Night, KOCTY, right? Just Saying, One Night, Dance For Me, Can't Fall, Habibi, Freaky, Up to Something. Right? Those are the songs that I'm taking. That's the album for me. Then the EP that I'm taking is Intro, 10 Toes, Game of Thrones. We ain't into that. Right? Daddy Issues, Never Learn. Right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the EP that I'm taking. So from your whole 21 track album, I'm taking an album, right? A 9-track album or a 10-track album, and I'm taking a 6-track EP. That's 16 tracks, right? Which leaves about 5 tracks just chilling. Scrap them 5 tracks for me personally. Scrap them 5 tracks. I don't need them 5 tracks. I'm taking 16 songs worth of music and I'm splitting them and I'm creating 2 projects. My takeaway here, I say the album is long. It's an hour and 11 minutes. That's long. I thought it was 11 songs too long. Personally, right? But I say that because I'm saying as an album, the whole thing, the whole black and white thing, I think it's 11 songs too long. Right? Why? Because my favorite side is about 10 songs. Quite honestly. My favorite side, which is the R&B side, it's like 10 songs, quite honestly. Right? So I'm saying, for me, the album is 11 songs too long. However, this was enough material to drop 2 albums in a single year and run the game. I think, or not even 2 albums, but like an EP and an album. I think this was enough material for you to do that. You were going to outshine everybody else because you were going up against Ginger Trill, Questa, Blue Papi, K-Kid, A-Reese, Nasty, all right, a bunch of bros. You were going up against a bunch of bros. If you drop 2 projects, you are watching all of these guys out because with the R&B side, you're already making Nasty look different because Nasty's doing a whole lot of singing on Free, but you doing quality singing on the R&B side. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then with the rap side, you making all the rappers. I don't think you can touch Ginger Trill in my honest opinion, and as far as like a rap project, but you are in the conversation. You understand what I'm saying? So with 2 projects, you kind of like competing with these niggas that have 1 album, and you're kind of like pushing them out. So I believe if you split this album and then you make it 2 albums and then you drop it the first part of the year and then this one the last part of the year, especially the R&B side, you drop the R&B side around now September, bro. You're finishing the game. You are in pole position, in my humble opinion. I don't know if this rain is gonna bother us, but we'll figure it out. Right? But I guess hence the title. I guess hence the title. I guess that's why. Cool. I get it. You understand? I love the juxtaposition in as far as the emotional cinematic samples with the boom bap tone and the dark trap. It's menacing, painful, but beautiful. Big shout out to Zucci for that. While at that, I'm impressed and enjoyed the R&B side though. Right? The project feels like it was a Zucci and Flvme creative direction collab tape. One side it was definitely Zucci's creative identity. The other one it was Flvme. Like I said, I think Flvme is a better R&B writer than he is a rapper. You understand? But you can hear that Zucci actually guided him properly for the first part, and then he took the reins to the second part. Right? Or on the second part. I think it's a good album. Would have made 2 great albums to me if it was split. But between the length and a couple of cool songs, it makes it a good album to me. Flvme should be an R&B writer. If you understand, he's not already. R&B guys need to get Flvme in the studio. It was an hour long, a tough hour, but it wasn't a wasted hour. In closing, I'll say this. Flvme Dog, I think your positioning is wrong, right? And maybe this is not your fault. I think you should be in the same conversations as the JRs. Now, it's very important to note that JR was never in the conversation of he's the greatest songwriter, because we actually experience his songwriting through AKA, right? If you listen to a lot of JR influenced AKA stuff, you can hear that JR is a monstrosity with the pen. It's a monstrosity with the arrangement. JR is one of the best. I believe Flvme is one of those people also. I think your positioning is wrong. I think yours is not to try to compete with the field. Yours is to guide the field and write for the field. Now, you may want to be in the forefront, but I think if you want to be in the forefront, you need to do the JR thing and make extremely phenomenal music, because you do make extremely phenomenal music. I think your positioning is wrong. I think you are one of the best songwriters in the country, right? Top tier. I know I say this about a lot. I said this about Nasty the other day. You understand? But Flvme, you're a different type of time, bro. You know? I think everything else, you understand, in between Candyman, going back to what I said earlier on, everything else in between Candyman was you fighting position, right? Or fighting for position, right? And I think Black and White does something very important. It puts you out of place, but it also puts you in your place. I think the fact that it's so long does that. It puts you out of place because it's like, you don't need to be playing in the field, right? You need to be playing in the sessions, right? You need to write people. You need to give hits to people, right? And if you want a hit yourself, you need to sit down and actually be the guy that you actually are, because you can write one, right? I think Candyman showed that. I think the things that you penned for TWC and Reese showed that. I think maybe you're sitting in the dark and you doubting yourself. Bro, you are one of the best, if not the best, of course. JR is still alive, right? RJ Benjamin's still alive. Like, there's a bunch of guys who really do this for real, right? But you are in that conversation too. And in order for you to be legitimately in that conversation, I think you need to do what they do, which is give legitimate niggas hits. Now, maybe niggas don't mess with you for whatever reason, but I don't think you should play the field. I think you should guide the field. I think this what this album does. It takes you out of place, but it puts you in place. Because the R&B side, bro, if it has time for expansion, right, you could, Jesus Christ, right? I see you writing for Lord Kes. I see you, Lord Kes, sorry. I see you writing for a Cindy Messina. I see you writing for a bunch of ladies in the game. I also see you writing. I kept on thinking to myself, you need to go in the studio with Tron Pyre and write for him. Because I think Tron Pyre writes as like a rapper more so than he does write like a R&B artist. And I'm a Tron Pyre fan, right? But I think, dog, you're a phenomenal writer. You shouldn't play the field. You should control the field, right? And I think that's your position. So I think you are ill positioned, my brother. And I think if anything, dog, you're not a Quincy Jones. You're a Clarence Avant. Those who know, they know what I mean. And not on some business situation, on some writing. Because Quincy Jones was in front doing all that woo woo woo, but Clarence Avon was at the back making sure that things work for everybody else. You understand? And making things, hey, what's going on, Sammy? Right? You holding yourself back, yes. Right? So, in closing, dog, I think this is a good project. It could have been a great project had it been split. It's too long for me. Right? This is a good project. But I will say, just going back from what I said to you, both. Not both, sorry, because I'm reading something. He should do both. He mustn't let either fall. I disagree, Buddha. You can't be both. You can't be a star and be you. To be a respected boss, you need to have anonymity. You can't be everywhere, because everybody's gonna get used to you. Right? I'm making this example. To be a boss, right, a respected figure rather, you need to keep some sort of anonymity. You can't be playing with everybody. But you need to be doing moves. Right? Let your moves speak for you, not your face. If he plays the front-facing game, I'm sure even Verseless can speak. The front-facing game even has more money than the thing is the background game has more money than the front-facing game. You know what I mean? I'm sure Verse can speak to this. But I will say in closing, Flame, as I said about the music, and I said on that Wild Take Wednesday that nobody's looking out for you, because since you did Candyman, things haven't been translating the same way, and you responded the way that you responded. I agree with your response, but I also think that Black and White kind of proves what I was saying. The articulation point of what's happening right now is you can do Candyman a billion times better, a billion times more. But because you're playing with the rules of the front-facing guys, you always make front-facing songs. Whereas you can make Candyman 100 times. 100. That R&B section of the thingy is a different version of Candyman, or a better version, or a different. And what I mean when I say you can make Candyman, I'm not saying the actual album. I'm saying the lore, the quality, the everything around that album, the way that album is lauded, the way that album is being put there. You can make 100 of them by just waking up, seemingly. Right? That is a compliment to you. You can make them things just breathing, but because you want to play with everybody else in the field, right? And you want your shirt to go up in the rafters, like, oh, he dropped 40, right? No. Nobody knew what Phil Jackson's basketball career went like. You know how everybody knows Phil Jackson? Phil Jackson took the Bulls on a three-peat, right? Or on a four-peat. And then Phil Jackson went to go do it with the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. Phil Jackson did it with Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen, and then Phil Jackson went to go do it with Kobe and Shaq, right, and Rick Fox and them. So in the same way that we can say, oh, Kobe, we can say Phil Jackson. You gotta wear the suit and be Phil Jackson. Stop wearing the shirt and trying to be Kobe. And that's my closing to Flame. You can be Phil Jackson. You know the plays. Phil Jackson gave them the triangle. The triangle won championships. Candyman is the triangle. Candyman is the triangle. The triangle offense, if you guys know basketball. The triangle offense. Right? So, did I say offense properly? The triangle offense. It sounds weird to me. But anyway. Bro, be Phil Jackson. That's my closing to Flame. That's my message to Flame. Be Phil Jackson, bro. Be Phil Jackson. You don't need to be Kobe. You don't need to be Jordan. You don't need to be that. Niggas who know the sport, they know who Phil Jackson is. They do know who Phil Jackson is. The same way we do know who Flame is. I walk around every day and say your contribution is the reason why the Wrecking Crew is the Wrecking Crew. Walk in that light. But big shout out to you. Big shout out for Black and White. And I hope that your next effort Number one, I hope this video gets to you, right? The same way that the first one did. But second of all, I hope that your next effort, you walk in your light. Because big dog, you'll be doing a bunch of great things out here. We out here. We out here. That is my black and white review of Flvme. Thirsty, sponsor the pod. Sponsor the pod. I be drinking your water a lot. I be drinking